All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Thursday. It's good to be back. Time's going by faster and faster. We're having some awesome news every week when it comes to gaming, and we have a crazy news story to talk about. That's the main topic going on this evening. We have a great guests in general, a returning old member of TSGP. Let's get it started. We're started without further ado. Dealer Gaming is our special guest. How's it going, man?
Oh, hi, Salty. Nice to be here.
How's
everyone doing tonight, huh?
Good, man. Other than these technical difficulties,
the world's on fire.
All right.
These technical difficulties and pieces of shit lying about sources. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Great, right?
Yeah. You're same old on the good old YouTube scene, right? So, Dealer, I know you've been on here before. We hang out and all that good stuff, but we like to get people's gaming history background. So I haven't heard yours. So let's get it popping with that. Let's start off with Dealer Gaming's gaming history. Where'd you start to where you are now? You know.
Well, I guess this is actually a good idea while people stream in.
Yeah.
By the way, Xbox sucks, according to somebody in the chat. My first time ever even having a console was the same day that I found out Santa Claus wasn't real. I ended up with a Sega Genesis, and from there, I ended up somehow getting a Nintendo, and then eventually getting a PS1, PS2, and then I traded that bitch in for an OG Xbox, and it was no looking back for me personally. From there, the 360, and then I got a PS3, and then the X1 and PS4, and so on and so forth, and eventually got into learning about PC and how it works and started talking about it on my channel, and here we are.
Cool. Awesome. Well, it's good to have you here, man. You're the tech guru. Every time I have any questions on tech, I ask people to go to your channel because you're the go-to source there. You do actually put sources in your video, which is nice.
I don't know what the fuck sources are, bro. I've never used them. So
yeah, I don't know what that is either.
I heard you can make a great sauce with tomatoes, oregano.
yeah. A lot of times I have more than one source. So yeah, it's great. It's a good thing to do.
And interviews.
Awesome. So,
and just most importantly, I want to point out that when you do get called out for not using a source, don't play the victim and then lie like a dumb bitch, right? So that's kind of an important thing on you. If you're looking to get in YouTube, you ever get called out for being a lying fuck, don't play the victim.
Awesome. Let's move to Let's move to our.
Is there no cussing here? I mean.
Nah, there's cussing here, dude. It's just not like a sailor. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Hey, so next up we have a returning old member of TSGP. He's a lifetime member. Let's be honest. Nintendo Direct, how's it going?
What's going on, man? I'm feeling good, feeling great. Didn't go to work today, and so I decided, hey, man, I should stop by. I'm feeling good. Great.
Awesome. It's good to have you back, dude. You always have a spot here, dude. Whenever you were there in the beginning. Dad's a Gaming, dude. Me and you with like one viewer watching,
The Dog Podcast.
Yeah, dude. So it's good to have you back. Next up, we have G-Man. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Been MIA the last couple weeks. I apologize. Apologize to everyone. The adult life seeping in with my new job at Fort Hamilton. It's hard being one of the most intelligent human beings in New York City, so they expect you to work all the time. Other than that, just glad to be back. Looking forward to these topics, one in particular. So let's get at it.
All right, and we have a big announcement this week. It's good. We're announcing that FC Violent is going to be a permanent panel member. I've been paying attention to his content for a while. I'm a Patreon member of his channel. He has a great podcast, the Vitamin G podcast, and he sources his content as well. So I look out for that kind of stuff. So what's up, FC? It's good to have you, man.
What's going on, man? First, man, I'm gonna shout out the chat. Hit that like button. It's an honor to come back, man. Salty, man, I appreciate you reaching out to me, and of course, man, I can't wait, man. I'm just ready to go in, man.
Awesome. It's good to have you. Next up, we have Titan. He's working on a project, man. It's a top secret project. I've heard it myself, and man, it is good. That's a little teaser for you. How's it going, Titan?
Thanks, man. I want to welcome FC Violent to the panel. Welcome, buddy. I hope you're ready to take some L's, because we all do here on TSGP. But Salty, do me a favor tonight, man. Don't wait till the end of the show to get our main topic, maybe somewhere in the middle.
Oh, yeah. We'll do a
Don't
big...
give me a heart attack trying to fit all this content in at the end of the show.
Yeah, I saw the list. I'm like, oh, it's at the bottom.
Yeah, usually...
Yeah, a lot to talk about.
Yeah, sorry about that. I usually get sidetracked before you know it, 2 hours goes by, you know? Next up...
True.
Yeah, next up we have Hyena Den. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is going to be a very lit show, so I hope some of you guys in the chat are sauced up for us because it's going to be pretty fun. And also, it's really awesome to have Violent as a permanent member of TSGP. I remember talking to you, weeks and weeks ago, just random stuff, and I'm like, dude, this guy's legit. So it's awesome to have him on the panel.
That's right, man. And I've gotten everybody right. There's a couple people missing icons on Hangouts and stuff. All kinds of things are going on. But we got some new gifts going on this week. I shared a couple of them. I got the Cuphead dude dancing up in the corner. So we'll be revealing those as we go. But without further ado, let's talk about Rage. Rage 2 specifically. Let's get into our thoughts there. Anybody that's played it or seen it, whatever. I played it, did an impressions video. I think it's a really fun game to play. I had some issues with the resolution, not performance specifically, because it's at a 60 frames per second, so that's nice. But the textures are kind of ho-hum, and it is what it is. But the gameplay speaks volumes for that game. I'm really having fun with it. Dealer, I know you've been playing that game. What do you think of Rage 2?
Look, guys, this is what it takes to get 60 FPS right now on the current gen consoles, right? And keep in mind, it's an open world game. So to me, I don't sit still and play my games through screenshots. I'm moving around and shit, and I noticed the 60 FPS far more than I probably would notice certain resolutions at certain times. So, right now, John Linneman of Digital Foundry is saying that the X version does have more graphical features enabled, and it also does hold its performance better. Myself, I think it looks pretty good for a 60 FPS open world game on a current gen console. We don't see those. Keep that in mind. This game is locked. Like, I have 0 frame rate problems with this game so far. 0. I'm not exaggerating. So that they had to do what they had to do, man. I respect the developers for giving us performance first, and really, I think it makes the game a lot more fun to play. The game is just really fun to play. Go out, clear places, kill bandits, get loot, use it to drag it back to your car, upgrade your guy, upgrade your car, upgrade your guns, and then go and do a story mission if you want. But no matter what, the important thing is no matter what you're doing, all of it is coming back to improve your character so you can go forward and crush harder in the story as well.
What exactly did they do to the game to make it at 60 frames, Dealer? I don't have this game.
It's 1080p, which I think, whatever, it's fine. It depends on the distance you are from your TV, the size of your display. But
oh my God, how can you do that to yourself?
It is 1080p, but the problem is the anti-aliasing right now isn't holding up. So the anti-aliasing is kind of the thing that's causing a little bit of flickering. There's a little bit of pop in, like if you're riding in the sky, if you get the air vehicle yet, Salty, you'll see some pop in and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's so smooth. It's enjoyable to play. It's Doom and Mad Max combined. And whoever gave this game a 6 is a crackhead.
That's why Noof Nukem. I was talking to Noof Nukem about the game while he was playing it, and he said that the textures looked dated, and that 1080p is the exact reason why. So, because I didn't put that together, so thanks for letting me know. But someone that has played it, you want to go ahead and take the mic?
Anybody else play the game? No,
I haven't played Rage 2, but Rage 2 is something I'm interested in getting soon-ish. I played and beat the first Rage game, and I liked it for what it was. The story in Rage, as a whole, as the franchise, was nothing to sneeze about. But the gameplay is what really draws you in, and this gameplay in Rage 2 means more than the first because it's backed. It has. There are key features from id Tech games, and you can tell it's an id Tech game by the way it moves, and they've really doubled down on this stuff. I know that there was a whole controversy of it being at 1080p 60, and I looked at it, I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as it holds its frame rate, performance is more important to me than anything else. And John Linneman said he was fighting with somebody on Twitter, and I was just laughing through it all. And he was like, dude, if if this isn't a lock 60 FPS, then I don't know what the fuck is, because this thing holds it really well on the X.
Yeah.
And that's something that not a lot of developers really try to do, but the ones that do strive for it, they do it really well. And Rage 2 is an example of that. And I'm really excited to play it. I really am.
Tell me if you agree real quick. I mean, the fact that they even call it Rage 2 is kind of curious, right? Like, it's not like the first game at all. It's way better in every single way. And two, the developers that made this game just kind of showed people like, hey, this is how you do it. This bitch is locked. And it's open world.
Absolutely. It's doing what it does. They're showing people that performance does matter, and they do it very well.
Real quick, Cyber Gunter in the chat said Pony and Xbots together at last. I don't know about that, buddy. It's kind of like throwing two beta fish in the same bowl together, in my opinion.
Real quick, this brings up the topic of debate here. So 60 frames per second. So we got resolution, the people in that camp. We got the frame rate, boys and girls. Personally, here's the deal. Before I had a 4K TV, I was all about frame rate, because obviously I was hitting that 1080p. But like playing this game and not having the option to put a 4K mode in there, and I have a 4K TV, felt strange to me. And they might change that later. But with this debate, do you think it's strange that these developers came out and just said, hey, we're doing 1080 60 and you don't have an option even if you have 4K capabilities? Like, what do you guys think about that?
It's creative vision. It's creative vision, Salty. Remember that shit? So yeah, I'm with you. Like, I always prefer to have an option, and it would have been no problem for them to double the pixel rate at 1440p. Actually, they could have done that if not for CPU bottlenecks, even at 60 FPS, since the pros running it at 60 as well, right? We know the X does about double the pixel count, but at minimum, they could have done a 1440p 30 mode or 1800p 30 mode and called it a day, and they didn't really offer people that option. So maybe this is just the way that they want the game to kind of feel, but I do agree that option should be there.
It's a little strange to me, but I'd rather see them get one thing down really well instead of like two options kind of haphazardly put together. You know what I mean? I'd rather see the 1080p mode instead of them taking more time or even possibly delaying the game to put in another kind of playing type option.
It's a good point. And I just want to point one thing out, and I want to throw it back to Salty. I know I'm talking a lot here, but
keep talking.
But dude. Gears of War 4, just for people that don't know, the 60 FPS mode in Gears 4, that's also 1080p. So, the thing that makes Rage kind of stand out to people is the anti-aliasing in the distance. You can see some flickering and stuff. So, if you like the Gears 4 performance mode, you'll like the Rage one.
Yeah.
I got
Go ahead, dude.
Oh, go ahead, Salty. Sorry. I was just going to say, frames per second, it wins out. I remember, actually, Dealer and I talking about that time we played State of Decay 2. The frames per second just wins out for me. And I remember the reason it did is like I got a PC built back in 2014 in anticipation for The Witcher 3, because I wanted to play the first two Witchers on PC, roll into it on PC, Witcher 3. I was nerding out Witcher City and I remember playing The Witcher 3 with 60 frames per second long before it came to Xbox One X, and I just remember then getting it for the original Xbox One, and seeing the difference and being like, oh my God, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like when you've got the higher frames per second in anything, I don't know what it is. It's almost like it looks funny at first because the animation is more than you're ever seeing in a movie or in a cartoon or anything. You know what I mean? The animation's so crisp and clear and beautiful. And it'd be nice if they gave you an option in this game. I plan on buying it tomorrow. I get paid tomorrow, so I plan on buying Rage 2. But it's going 60 frames per second. I'm thrilled. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, I'm a shooter guy, you know what I'm saying? I've always talked about that, and I'm always about the frame rate, but that's the thing about this generation. We've had to choose between the two, and it's good that the next generation's coming up, because more than likely if you upgrade, you're not going to have to worry about that. You probably get a 4K 60 mode on a lot of your games. Nintendo Direct, what do you think, man? Since you've been playing, a lot of Nintendo titles and all that other stuff, what's this resolution situation, frame rate, all that stuff? What do you think, man? And Rage 2. What are your thoughts?
I haven't touched Rage 2. I've watched people play it. I'm trying, like I said, I'm still trying to just kill my backlog before I play anything new. So that's just the mission that I'm on. But as far as frame rate versus resolution, I prefer frame rate, especially on something like the Switch. Whenever you play those games in handheld, because sometimes the resolution is not great, but being able to actually play something in a good frame rate actually does make a huge difference on the Switch, and that's how I prefer it. If I guarantee you, if Smash came out and it was at like 30 and it was just dropping, that would not be a good experience. But because it's at 60 frames, it's a great experience. So that's why I prefer the performance in the frames over resolution, just for the experience in gameplay for myself. But that's where I prefer it. But don't know anything about Rage 2.
Yeah, NetherRealm with the Switch version of Mortal Kombat 11, they went with the frame rate, and then they dropped the resolution down to like, what, 480p or something like that?
It was awful resolution, but it was playable because it was in 60 frames. Now, I don't prefer that version. I would prefer the Xbox version, but, that's what they chose to do because it gives you that performance. And a lot of people who play the game on Nintendo thank them for it, that it's in 60, because now they can actually play a fighter game and put their combos in and not have any sort of performance issues.
So FC, man, what do you think? What do you think of Rage? The whole resolution, frames per second debate. What do you think, man?
Well, I haven't played Rage, but real quick, for those who played it, one of my buddies told me that there's no HDR. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's true. I think so, because there's no HDR slider. The visual settings, let's just say they're bare minimum. Okay, there are none really. So, Dealer, do you think HDR is in the game? I don't think so. Tim?
No, there is no. Okay. As of right now, there is zero HDR. If you get a 10-bit panel, 12-bit, all this stuff, you'll be treated to some amazing visuals when it comes to luminance in this game. If it had it, but it doesn't. And there's some speculation, is that due to performance? Because HDR takes a little bit of extra performance off the GPU to render. That's why the Xbox One S actually had a slightly faster clock than the original Xbox One. But apparently it's just not in the game, like a lot of Bethesda kind of developed and published games.
So you don't think there is any kind of visual downgrade from the trailers and stuff like that? Because from what I was seeing in the trailers to what I was experiencing on my TV, it just kind of seemed like there was a little bit of downgrade when it came to the console versions. I don't know. I just maybe it's just me, and maybe I became like a visual snob once I upgraded to a 4K TV.
I'm certain we saw the PC version of the trailers for one.
Probably the PC version.
And two. Honestly, bro, I'm so ecstatic that it's even 60 FPS. I'm enjoying every single second of that movement and getting around, and I'm just having a blast. That I'm not even honestly thinking about it. I'm sure you're right. I don't remember exactly what the original trailers looked like. I did not look forward to this game at all. I thought the marketing was cringy as fuck. That little chick with the two shotgun shell middle fingers. I was like, yeah, I was really cringing hard at it. But playing the game and stuff, I'm just happy to play it, man. That's all. It's kind of my.
Yeah, so just to let you guys know, there is news out there that these developers are already in the process of planning out Rage 3. So even though, there's news out there that there's a discount for the game already and sales, who knows what's going on with it, Rage 3 is going to be a thing, because Rage 1 came out and it was kind of, the reception was iffy at best. So then we got this game, but they're going to make it Rage 3. So if you're liking Rage 2, get ready for Rage 3. Just to let you guys know, Rage 2 is discounted on all platforms, and you can get that at Walmart and some other places. So if you waited on the game, you can pick that up. What do you guys think about these companies and these games getting price drops after one day on the market? It's insane, man.
It's got to piss a lot of people off that bought it day one. I'll tell you that. It's really strange to me. I don't know how are game developers supposed to sell their games early when they're constantly getting discounted day two, not to mention getting thrown into Game Pass 3 months later. It's like
quick question.
That's why digital is important.
Was that discount on physical though only, right?
Yeah,
I think it's physical, right?
Yeah.
And how much of a discount was it?
It was like $10. I think.
Okay.
Oh, nobody's buying the game physical.
Yeah, if you look at
maybe that's why we gotta get rid of these physical things, man.
Too much of the warehouse.
No one's buying this.
I just realized we don't have new fear, so he was.
Yeah. We can't figure out what to do.
It was like, but I do. Yeah.
So yeah, if you look at a lot of the analytics out there, digital is actually surpassing physical in a lot of markets. You know what I'm saying, with these sales, with MPDs and stats and figures. So that's interesting going forward. Because I didn't think I was going to switch 100% to digital, but now look where I am. You know what I'm saying? I think I could find one physical disc. I'm not a collector, first of all. I know there's some collectors out there like Lady Foxfire, and I think Noof has some games and stuff like that. But literally, I think I could find 2 physical discs, and one of them is Halo Reach because I was a cheap bastard and had to go to GameStop and get that cheaper version. It was like a difference of $15 because they try to ram you over. The Microsoft, for whatever reason, loves to charge a hell of a lot of money for those old titles.
Yeah.
So
like with Ninja Gaiden 2 when that
yeah,
dropped.
yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? We were really hoping for this game to hit PC. We didn't expect you to charge it.
Well, Microsoft, I'll put this out there. Microsoft don't determine any prices on the store aside from their first-party titles and any kind of third-party deals. So if you see any third-party game, indie or not, that is completely up to them. They can price that title at $7, $12, any increment they want.
So
it's just super strange to me. They're
damn you, Ninja.
They're discounting
Team Greedy.
Discounting the physical version, and then the digital stays the same. It's just backwards, man.
No, you know why? Because there's the middleman.
Yeah.
So that's why digital holds its value, and that's where the developers really making their money.
I think but I was thinking that's a reason why physical, should be more because of the middleman, because of the third party that's got to sell the physical edition.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's just me, but go ahead, Salty.
If you look at it, before this whole backwards compatibility thing was a thing, I think it's an incentive for these companies just to make some more money, So when they're trying to make money, of course they're going to do as much as they can to make as much money, even off these old titles,
Like, I think it was back in 2017, I want to say, around the holidays time, I went into GameStop. And this is when they announced it was Oblivion got back compass. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna go to GameStop so I can get this disc. And the Game of the Year edition was it was like $40, and I'm like, Oblivion who? I ain't paying that.
Yeah, dude. It's I don't know. Hopefully they'll find a way to lower those prices. But anyways, let's move on to the next topic. There's a rumor out there that Far Cry 6 has been leaked before E3 because Ubisoft apparently is going to be announcing 3 new games at E3, so we can speculate on what those are. It's interesting that Far Cry 6 would be around the corner when Far Cry New Dawn just came out. I didn't pick that up, but it was kind of a cheaper title. It kind of looked like a reskin of Far Cry 5, in my opinion. Do you guys think if Far Cry 6 was just around the corner, if they announced it at E3, do you think it'd be too soon for that, or would you guys be on board for that?
That feels too soon. That feels way too soon.
You sound like you're getting abducted again, FC. Nick, I think you were talking, my dude. What were you saying?
It just feels too soon. It feels too soon, man. But like, I'm noticing that Ubisoft is sort of getting into these habits of like releasing some of these their big title franchises like really close together. Like their Assassin's Creed, they get one out every year now. Far Cry's probably becoming one of those, but I still feel like it's too soon. I haven't even finished 5 yet. So, I mean, you're going to bring out 6 or announce 6 this year. That's just crazy to me.
You ain't beat 5 yet. You ain't going to beat it.
Right.
You ship it to somebody. Yeah. You ain't beat 5 yet. They got New Dawn out. And to me, New Dawn came out too soon. Yeah. And it's kind of fishy to me because they throw out New Dawn so quickly. And if, that's a big if another one is around the corner, that to me, that's like, all these game developers and stuff are throwing like their job has to be getting so much easier with all the upgraded tools they're getting in their engines and stuff, right? Salty, you showed me that one thing one time where it was like they can throw these big huge maps together so quick because of all the tools they have now, right?
The engines.
So it's just getting kind of weird to me. Like, do these guys like, oh, that's a good idea, save it for the next one? That's just what it seems like to me.
So the thing is like when I saw Far Cry New Dawn, I kind of thought it was like glorified DLC because it kind of looked like a reskin. I know people had fun with
it. It's like what
it.
they did with Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
Like when they had that Blood Dragon DLC. It's
God damn, Nintendo, let a man speak.
Sorry.
when you guys see that the assets pretty much look the same and it comes out so soon after a major launch, and then you see a $40 price point, it gets those question marks going in your head. Is this the new direction that the industry is going to kind of milk out some of these products? Because let's be honest, it could have been a DLC if they wanted to call it that, but they're like, nah, let's call it a new game. Let's charge $40. It's not a full retail price for a game. And then another game that I'm seeing that's going to do similar is the new Wolfenstein, right? It's going to be priced at a $40 price point. It's kind of further out when it comes to how spaced out the games are, but from what I'm hearing, we talked about this on Gaming News at Noon, they're changing the way they're doing the game, so there's less cutscenes, there's less emphasis on the amount of story that's being told on there, and just you're playing the game. So when I see this kind of stuff, it kind of makes me think a little bit if that's the kind of directions these developers are going, you know. So
I mean, you know, real quick, I mean, I saw it even mentioned in the chat. Yeah, right there. Peter Young in the chat. Blood Dragons was really good. So I agree 100%. Now, Far Cry 3, I still haven't seen them top that personally for me as far as the Far Cry series. Far Cry 3 was just immaculate. And Blood Dragons was a great twist on it. I loved it, I guess, because I grew up watching movies on VHS, those 1980s action movies, which is what it was poking fun at. I really loved it. Far Cry 4, I think I played for a half hour because I realized it was the same as 3. They just, you know, gave everybody an Indian accent. That's all they did. You know what I mean? No, I'm serious. It's not being racist, but that's all they did. It was the same exact, you know, archetype. They did the right, and then Primal, like really. Yeah, I was like, who wants really? I mean, if you enjoyed it, God bless you. You know what I mean? You know, but they did the right thing with Far Cry 5. They really kind of retooled everything. They realized, all right, we can't just have you climbing towers, you know, and stuff like, you know what I mean? And then out of nowhere, just you're back. Just to me, that's what New Dawn was. This is Primal. This is their Far Cry Primal for this little chapter. And now to hear 6 is right on its heels. I'm not surprised. I agree with everyone. It's way too soon. Way too soon. But I mean, it's sickening. It's sickening to see this happening, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess the consumers can speak with their wallets if they can decide whether or not. I guess it's too soon. Shout out to Infamous Fabs with the $20 super chat. He says diaper fun. Yeah, man. You know how expensive diapers and formula is? My God, there was a study out there that says that I guess America is at like an all-time low in like the last 35 years of the amount of babies that are being born. I'm like, except for this dumbass.
For a reason, dude.
Yeah. So FC, what do you think, man?
Yes, sir, man. It's way too soon, man. I don't know about other gamers, but for me, I'm already getting the open world fatigue like heavily, and them having to announce or maybe leak another Far Cry after just releasing their DLC / new game. It's too soon, and I think Ubisoft's already started to get garner better attention and more favor towards, you know, the consumer base. You know, like everyone's thinking like, okay, Ubisoft's turning around, and I don't want them to go revert back to you know, Assassin's Creed Unity Ubisoft, man. So I don't know, man. It's not a good look for me, man. They need to slow down or find other ways to optimize you know, their funds.
The only game I ever burned at the stake, although I should have burned Star Wars Battlefront 2 at the stake as well.
All right, so
see, that was bad for a different reason, though.
Real quick, Predator H2O says it's okay for COD to drop every year, but Ubisoft can't do it with Far Cry. Good question, man. Good point.
But look at COD's kind of, I don't know, the way it's perceived amongst the, you know, the way we even talk about COD. Most people, they're just like, eh. What is Far Cry's development cycle, by the way? Is it every 2-3 years?
It seems, like 2 or 3 years it's been coming out.
From Primal to 5, right?
It's a big gap, though, between Primal, right?
Primal to 5 was a decent-sized gap, but I can't remember.
Primal sucked, though, right? I mean, they might have
I think it was 3 years. So I don't know. I think people just want to think that Far Cry is a really, really big game, and hopefully the longer they take, the higher the quality. But after Odyssey, I have renewed faith in Ubisoft. So,
well, here's this too. You got to look at it from this angle too. How many teams are working on each game, right?
Like 900 people, right? Some shit.
Call of Duty has multiple teams. You know, they're working on different titles, right? So, and how many teams are working on, you know? So there's that you got to look at. Also, but the thing I understand what he's saying, and the thing that pisses me off with Call of Duty is there's not enough innovation. They're on like. Each team is essentially on like a 3-year cycle right now, right? Because there's 3 teams, so they're gonna come out. You know, Treyarch doesn't have to come out with another game for another few years, right? So they've got all this time, just that one company to work on the next game, and far too often it's essentially a reskin with just slightly different, and the game engine hasn't changed in years, which that's got to have. That's my biggest pet peeve of Call of Duty is the game engine.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. I mean, even with the Call of Duty, to piggyback on what Titan's saying, like you said, there's so little innovation in those games, and that's what I'm worried about seeing with Far Cry, because I didn't see much innovation with New Dawn from 5. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't want to see that happen. Like look, like you said, Treyarch's got what? They got a couple, at least 3 years to make their next Call of Duty. What are they going to do? This one you can run and slide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Come on, guys. Really? This is what you're calling innovation? Come on, get out. Run
and the Goombas will eat it up. Shout out to Biggie2316. Just stopping by quick to hit the like button and show support. We'll catch the whole show in a couple of hours. Keep up the great work. Biggie, you rock, man. You're awesome. Nice.
Not only just running and sliding.
Yeah,
Biggie is funny as hell.
He's awesome.
Not only just running and sliding, G-Man, it's also like they made a huge production of the gun never goes down. You never put your gun down.
And the fish move when you get near him, Drago.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, they could do a lot better, I do believe.
Yeah, speaking of COD, man, they're talking about a new Modern Warfare coming out. It's not going to have Battle Royale. Is that going to move the meter for you guys?
Nope.
It's gonna move it in the wrong direction.
It's gonna. So you're all about that Battle Royale. I know that, man. But
No, hell no.
Frisbee disc to the trash can. That's what that is.
Absolutely not.
you guys are lying, though. You're gonna buy it anyway, like me.
We're all hating on it now, you know, and that's good and fun. It's all good fun. But yeah, when that trailer drops, when they start releasing, like, the hype train will get going. But you know.
No, I am sticking. No pun intended. I'm sticking to my guns here, but I have. I have never
gun down.
I have never bought anything Call of Duty related. Period in its existence. So that franchise just doesn't interest me.
There's
nothing. Never. No expansions.
You don't even count. Give him an L, Salty.
No, there's nothing. There is nothing they could do to pique my interest. If there is one franchise out there that does gunplay right, it's Battlefield.
You're like,
period.
It's Forza. You're
well
like,
said.
Unless they have guns to the cars, I don't know. But
Twisted Metal Forza.
Exactly.
Yeah, Hyena's like, if there's one franchise that does guns right, it's Turn 10.
Hey, Sony and Microsoft just joined forces. Maybe we can get a COD and Battlefield.
Yeah, seriously. All kinds of unlikely teams are teaming up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's move on to the next topic.
It ain't happening. He won't do it.
It's not happening yet. Sorry.
It's the carrot that's dangling. That's
he's blue balling everybody.
Continuing Ubisoft, whatever you call them, tomato, who gives a shit? Skull and Bones delayed again. Are they scared of Sea of Thieves, or does the game just suck?
I don't think. Maybe they just saw what happened to Sea of Thieves. Like, fuck, we need some shit to do in this thing.
Seriously, yeah.
I don't know that game. There's something weird about that game that just it doesn't look interesting enough. Maybe I've heard so many different mixed things on Skull and Bones, like how they said it's gonna be a campaign and it's not just ship combat, and then on the other side saying it's just ship combat. If it's just ship combat, I'm not playing it. Like it's like that's one of the things that kind of annoys me about some of the Assassin's Creed games. Like I just stuff that's I know it's an open world game, but ship combat on its own and it being the main focus just doesn't seem like there's enough there to keep people going. 100 versus 100
fishing.
Oh man. I don't know. I just look at the game. I'm like, you can delay it for 10 years. I don't think that game's going to find a following personally.
I don't think they evolved too much from their. I think the first time they had ship combat was it Assassin's Creed back in America? I forgot which one that was.
3.
Yeah, 3. And I just feel like they're trying to capitalize that and just make it its own game. But I don't know if that's enough because I'm kind of burnt out on Assassin's Creed ship combat personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, this looked different, and it looked like it didn't have just your standard cannonballs. I'm
Not
pretty sure I
much.
saw.
They added a couple
I
things.
saw the grape shot. I think there was another type of shot too, for like the
take down the mask.
Yeah, that's the grape shot one. But yeah, I was really hyped when I saw this game. I don't know, a year ago, and like that, that went away, and then they say they're delaying it, and this could be the best thing for the game, seeing the delay, because I know a long time ago, I don't know, it was about 8 months ago probably, I was going to make a video on how Skull and Bones was going to come out and absolutely crush Sea of Thieves, and no one's going to play Sea of Thieves. Well, I was wrong as hell about that, because Sea of Thieves picked their butts off the ground, started adding some content to their game or whatever. So
well, I think
I never heard of Atlas.
That's exactly what I was going to go to. People tried saying the same thing with the Atlas ship game, and I'm like, nobody. I think what Sea of Thieves has done a great job at piquing anybody's interest that enjoys, the ship stuff. And obviously you don't have to be just on the ship. I think everybody that wants that, they're going towards Sea of Thieves, and they ditched Atlas, and I don't think there's going to be enough people there that are going to want to play Skull and Bones. The cinematics and stuff for that when they showed it off looked great, but I just don't know.
Well, so I got a question for Salty and Dealer, because I know you two. Me and Salty just played Sea of Thieves last night, and we got to the Golden Shores, and we beat the Golden Shores or whatever, and that was absolutely amazing. Going into the Golden Shores is like one of the coolest experiences, because of the music and the lighting and everything, man, this is building up to some legit stuff right here, and that was legit. Dealer, have you made it to the Golden Shores yet?
I'm like 2 quests away.
Man, you're
well, I mean, we played it together, right?
Yeah.
Me, you, and some other people. I played it the next night. I think I played it the next night, and I'm really glad Rare are committed to adding content to that game. But yeah, the Tall Tales are definitely the most interesting thing in Sea of Thieves. You guys remember me talking about before it was out. I was hearing really good things about it, and a lot of that kind of shines through. And I think what you're talking about, the Golden Shores, is definitely one of those highlights. Mixing up the gameplay elements and finding basically loot or treasure or your object you need through different means. Really cool. And I'm actually looking forward to getting the Golden Shore, because I heard a lot of cool stuff about it. So
dude, we'll
good.
jump into that together sometime, me and Salty.
I'm not too far off.
Yeah.
Say, real quick, Dealer, what would you rate it now? Because I remember your original video. What's your thoughts?
Oh God, my original video, like I said, I think a lot of people just were caught up in the hype, and they didn't even listen to the whole thing where I recommended it. Say, yeah, there's fun to be had, rent it. But there's a ton of potential here that's not realized, and it's unfortunate. Like I said a million times, it didn't benefit me at all to make that video, but you got to keep shit 100. Now I would say maybe, depending on how this last quest, it was easily a 6 before, but now maybe after these quests, if the last one's good, like Drago's saying, then I could say maybe a 7.3 or 4, maybe. I mean, you guys got to understand, this game needs more. It needs more. Yeah. So
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And Dealer's a harsh judge in general. He always rates games lower than I do.
Well, I played greatness, Drago.
Like Dream Daddy.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I want more from Rare. They can make more. They're 300 men strong now. They were 100 when they made that game. I just demand more. And Jez did a really good list of 50 things that they could add to the game. I was in a party with them, and I was like, hey, add the pirate hub city. Like, that was something I mentioned in my original review. There should be a hub city where people can dock their ships and trade, goods or see each other's stuff, and it's a ceasefire zone. Like, there's so much potential here that I think people have blocked that out of their heads. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The potential is there, and it could go in any direction too. That's the thing. That's and maybe that's why Skull and Bones is like, let's hold off. Let's just make our game as good as possible before Sea of Thieves. We just come in and they just own the world. You know.
I think it speaks volumes though to how much time and effort Rare's put into it that they can get people like Dealer to come back in, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, get people that didn't enjoy the game too much or were kind of bored with it. Let's be honest, there wasn't any content really there, dude. There was no roaming megalodons, no skeleton ships.
Yeah, nothing. There was nothing.
Dude,
there was 3 mission variants, and there was nothing. And I don't think we should have to say, let's be honest, because as Xbox fans, it's literally our responsibility to ask for more when something's not up to snuff. Some people legitimately only thought about the fun they had with their friends. Other people like myself was like, well, what am I doing? Right? So even with the Tall Tales, now that I have an objective that's a little more goal-oriented, I'm feeling it. And the HDR in Sea of Thieves is still the best I've ever seen. Like, for all the OLED lords out there, you know that. You know how this HDR is rocking in this game. It's fucking crazy, so...
I wouldn't know the HDR on my TV sucks. So
yeah. I told you when I got it, bro. Like, at least you got it for free or whatever. So
yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Nintendo Direct. What do you think of Skull and Bones, man?
When I first saw it, dude, I literally thought I was watching Assassin's Creed Black Flag again.
So, I told you.
And that was my opinion. So immediately when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. And then we got to play Sea of Thieves, and that was the last sort of pirate game that I've ever played, and I don't really have much interest in Skull and Bones. If I had to be honest with you, I'd much rather play Sea of Thieves, and I'm glad there's more content. I need to pick that game back up and play it again. So if I ever get home, I'll hit one of you guys up and play that. But I have no interest in Skull and Bones whatsoever.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, if you guys have had a chance to play Sea of Thieves, the Tall Tales, or the Arena, me and Titan jumped in the Arena, and man, what a cluster F, you know what that was, dude. Because if you don't have a full team, and you have teams, we had teammates like randoms doing random shit, hitting our anchor, and you know, everything. Yeah. Just we had it was bad, but maybe.
So when you're in the arena, so like what happens when you're
that's what I'm interested in.
Is how many people are fighting? Like how many
what is there, like 6 teams, 5 teams, five or six teams?
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah.
So you start off, you start in this hub world, and you can talk in game chat. So here's the deal. Yeah, it took me back to the way old things were in 360s, where there's no filters in game chat, and people are just talking shit. You know?
That's the best, bro.
It is pretty hilarious.
You get shot
because.
You get shot and they're like, "That's what I thought, bitch." but worse. All right.
It is that proximity. So like once they get close and you can start hearing the enemy teams talking trash if they're not in a party chat. Yeah, that is pretty good. I actually like that.
That's kind of fun though.
The guys, one of the guys was pretending like he was in that movie. What was it? He's like, "I am the captain. No." Or whatever. I can't do the accent.
I am the captain.
I am the captain.
Yeah, like the worst accent I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. That one dude talking about you need some milk.
You need some milk. Yeah, Ty didn't even know what that was.
Milk, boy.
He needs some milk.
Some milk.
So yeah, that's anyway. If you want to get shit talked, go into the arena and game chat, man.
That sounds like some old school fun right
there.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
It's fun, man. You know, if you have a team of 3 that's competent, I think you could do pretty well there. But basically, you just got to go dig up treasures and turn them into the central ship area. You get points for hitting other ships with cannonballs, killing people. You can sink other ships and they lose 1,000 points, or you can if you turn a treasure chest in, you get 1,000 points. So the team with the most points at the end wins, gets the most gold, but everybody else gets gold as well because participation trophies. Yay! What's up?
It's just not fighting each other in your ships. You like actually have to find treasure before other people and stuff like that. It's like
and sometimes they only give you one map at the beginning, and all 6 ships are heading to that one island. So it gets pretty crazy.
You know what? That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a condensed version of the main map. So You know, you got all these galleons, 6 of them in this small area, and everybody has the same map to go dig up the same treasure. So you can kind of play it off or, you know, camp on the boat. And I think one of our randoms, he got shot and they turned our treasure in. That's an easy 1,000. So it's crazy, man. It's good stuff. But we digress. Anyway, let us know if you guys are very sad that Skull and Bones is going to be, delayed, because delays apparently are a bad thing to gamers. Anyway, let's talk about this tweet by some Ubisoft people. I'm going to display it on my screen here. So they had this tweet out there by Julian Girardi. I don't know what his name is. But anyway, he had this picture of him and his close buddies. And he said, working on the next Splinter Cell with Dan and this guy in Lion. Can't wait for E3 crossover with the crew. Far Cry. So he put this up. I don't know. It seems like he changed it. But yeah, anyway, Splinter Cell is the main thing here. Damn, the dog's hyped.
Dogs have some shit to say.
Yeah, he's hyped for Splinter Cell. So anyway, they have this picture out there. So everybody started running with this, man, because I don't know what it is about Splinter Cell, but every E3, that's the popular pick. Oh, there's going to be a new Splinter Cell. Can't wait for that next Splinter Cell. Oh, when are we going to get a Splinter Cell? And then we get this tweet, and then lo and behold, it was bullshit. It was a joke. What do you guys think, man?
I honestly, I think it's really fucked up what they said. To see some people like super upset is kind of funny on one side, but on the same side, it's like, damn, like that's really messed up what they did, because you put yourself in the minds of the consumers of something they've been waiting for so many years, like, you know. Let's say, you know, the post or before Microsoft acquired Obsidian, and Obsidian and Bethesda started teasing, hey guys, we're about to make a sequel to, Fallout New Vegas. That would hype millions of people. And then only to find out that that's never going to happen. So many people would be so devastated and pissed off, you know? So I can feel for the fans that are like, dude, why'd you even say anything on Twitter? Like, just get off of Twitter. Go away. You know, it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it kind of sucks, because I can understand why people are really upset now.
Yeah, and no one's perfect online, right? We all make jokes and talk about stuff we shouldn't on social media, but I just kind of question, why would they choose Splinter Cell? You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people have talked about it, and there's been stories out there. They've mentioned the game specifically, that there's a lot of pressure to put it out, and I personally don't even see them putting out another Splinter Cell anytime soon, because the market's kind of changed. What do you think, G-Man?
It just hurts, you know. No. Look, I mean, I thought it was a funny thing. I thought it was a funny thing. It's almost like Aida, like you just said, to see how serious some people took it, and see how it was a funny thing, in my opinion. I thought it was funny. Believe me, I'm a big Splinter Cell fan. I still have every game physically. You know, every fucking Splinter Cell, I got them physically. You know what I mean? I still have these games, still love them. I would love to see a new Splinter Cell, but you know, I'm not gonna. Dude, I got more games I can play on 4 terabytes of Xbox One data. You know, and that's not even including what I got on PS4 and my Nintendo Switch. Then forget, I got a PS3 backwards compatible. I got Franks that plump when you can cook them. You understand? I'm telling you right now,
that
guys.
Plump when you cook them. Hey,
it's from Ballpark Franks.
We all know that you're lying though, because Xbox doesn't have games, right? So there's no way. There's no way.
My point. I digress. My point is, look. I get hyped for games. I'm super hyped for Cyberpunk. That's probably the game that would make me nuts if somebody came online from CD Projekt Red and said, April Fool. Yeah, psych. We're really not making this game. We're making a board game.
Oh,
you know what
man.
I mean? You know, seriously, I'd probably go nuts. You know, but my point being, whatever. I don't even know what my point is. Just forget about it.
So who else is a Splinter Cell fan in here? I'm not.
I am a Splinter Cell man.
FC. So what's up? Did you get triggered?
Bro, I got hit in the nuts, bro, when I saw it. And then you heard my dog barking, because he too is a Splinter Cell fan.
Yeah, I heard.
He's going ballistic. It's like, how fucking dare you?
He said, "Don't bring this topic up, bro."
Exactly, censor. Exactly. He's like, it's a sore spot. Fuck you,
Yeah, I'm with G-Man on this. It might be. It's a good yet late April Fool's joke. Like jokes are meant to screw with people. If they didn't, they wouldn't be a joke. Like, and yeah. Too many.
Damn those guys. Bring fucking Splinter Cell back, man. I need my Sam Fisher in my life.
Dealer.
No, exactly. In the end, though, yeah. I mean, great joke. Get a lot of fun out of it. Yay, you pulled the stitches at last. You know what I mean? I get it. It was funny to watch the person scream, but now let's get back down to the seriousness. Make fucking Splinter Cell. Excuse my language.
Diller, are you a Splinter Cell fan, my dude?
I liked Blacklist and Conviction. I did. I think I've got like 700 game score in Blacklist. I played it a good amount. The creative director of Blacklist is actually making the new Batman game this year for WB Montreal. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what he's doing there. But I know for a fact they were making the Splinter Cell game. That game got, according to what I'm told, it got basically canceled for a different game, and it was some dumbass kiddie game. And the reason is because Ubisoft say that, hey, these people always tell us they want Splinter Cell, but every time we bring one out, they don't buy it. And that's, from what I was told from a couple of employees joking at a bar one night, like, that's how they kind of look at it. Is this is one of those franchises that people say they want and they never go out and they never really support it. It never passes expectations, and they're kind of let down by it. So apparently, that means more kiddie games for you and I.
It's true, man. There's a lot of people that bitch and complain online, but they do not go out and buy these games, and that's why a lot of times these developers and publishers are just not going to put the work in and invest the money if people aren't going to buy the product. So I don't know if
that's why Game Pass is important.
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
exactly.
that's why I think that is like that are really going to hold some strength going forward for developers and stuff like that. Things like Game Pass, and it's really going to get bigger and bigger and be a bigger part of our industry. I think going forward.
Like, check out Dishonored 2, man. That game should have sold better, but if it was on Game Pass, more people would have tried it out. So,
no doubt, dude. Dishonored, that series in general, right? Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. What are you running from? That is just great stuff.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about Gears 5, because there's some rumors out there with the release date for Gears 5. I did a video on this, and then they also had some cover art out there. I don't have the actual picture up to show you guys, but it was kind of suspect. The source that it came from, honestly, I made a video on Hellblade back in the day, and it was rumored from the same place that is a ratings board, and it actually came to be true. So, interesting story here. It's a Taiwanese game software rating regulations, and they said the release date for Gears 5 is going to be September 10th. Interesting date there. And of course, this cover art, like I said, it kind of looked like it was thrown together in Photoshop. Even me, with my limited Photoshop skills, feel like I could put that together. It's kind of like someone looked at the movie posters for Avengers and Star Wars and try to make a Gears of War, box art for that. But I think the date itself is plausible. As far, let's give you guys, so past Gears games came out. Gears of War 1 came out November 7th, 2006. Gears of War 2 came out November 7th, 2008. And Hyena Den's like munching on something. Gears of War 3 came out September 20th, 2011. Gears Judgment March 19th. Gears of War 4 was October 11th. So it's not too far-fetched to see a Gears game come out in September. What do you guys think? Do you think it would be a good date to come out September 10th for Gears 5? Are you guys hyped for it? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Hyena, do you want to start off, my dude?
Sure. I think the September release date is perfectly plausible. Since there's going to be an actual Forza title this year, something has to take its spot, and those games usually have released around September and October. So Gears slotting in September kind of makes sense, but then it makes me wonder, well, if that's going in September, then where does Ori get slot? Because at first I assumed that Ori. Yeah, I first assumed that Ori was going to be an early September game, and then now we're hearing it's around the August timeframe. So it's just interesting to think about the box art for the game. It seems strange, but it doesn't seem bad. Like, it's just one of those. I guess it's almost it'll be forgettable for most people. With Gears 5, I think, we heard Rod Ferguson talking about how, you want your performance mode, you want your 4K, you want all your graphics, you're getting everything with this game. They're going to do everything for it. And some people are like, well, how is it going to be 4K 60, on the Xbox One X? And I remind people that when Digital Foundry had, this is when it was Project Scorpio, they got a huge stack of papers for benchmarks for the X, showing how the Xbox One would scale up to the Xbox One X on, whatever game that they were talking about at the time. Gears 4 had a lot of overhead left. In Digital Foundry was saying that native 4K, it was hovering around 40-45 frames. So there is... they're within the ballpark of getting Gears 5 up there. They don't have to optimize that much more to get it there.
I think they're gonna go dynamic or some kind of interlacing at 60 FPS, right? Like Gears 4 at 1080p had, like, it was eating 107 watts out of 170 possible. Meaning the GPU's just sitting there like, can I go faster? And they're like, no, you got to cap at 60. We're trying to keep the frames as competent as possible. And this next one, you're probably looking at some kind of scaling. You're looking at some kind of reprojection or interlacing. So it's going to look absolutely phenomenal. And I actually heard September 7th was the date. I mentioned this on RDX a couple weeks ago. September 7th was the date that I heard for Gears of War 5. I don't know if that's accurate. I heard from the same guy that I heard about a lot of the stuff from. So September is, I'm thinking, is probably pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fine. I know some people have worries about, Borderlands 3 is going to be releasing around it. Borderlands is going to do its own thing. Trust that. But I don't think it's going to take away from Gears 5, especially since it's in Game Pass. That game can do whatever it wants. It'll be fine, and people are gonna love it regardless. Like, I've told people,
are they really scared for Gears 5? Is that what you're saying? Because Gears 5 is gonna crush. Like, that game, it's gonna be the best Gears game in a long time. You got like a semi-open world. You got all these new mechanics. Rod Ferguson said we're taking risks. This is our first Gears game. With Gears 4, we wanted to prove we could do it. That's why half of the game is Rock'em Sock'em Robots. They were low on time. They didn't have that many employees compared to they do now. They didn't have the technology built yet. Now they have all the assets. They're familiar with Unreal Engine 4. Their team is up to about 300 men strong, and they can go full steam ahead. And once more, people are upset because you're playing as Kate, but if you played Gears 4, you understand exactly. You could not. Honestly, there's no better person to play as if you've beaten Gears 4. You understand that.
Yeah, Gears 5 is gonna just crush it and do its own thing, and it's going to. The game's just gonna look beautiful. The Coalition are really, really talented people. Whatever they were supposed to make before, they are acquired. Like,
these guys, dudes are sleeping on Gears 5 because they're used to Microsoft not having any AAA software over the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. But honestly, things aren't. If you haven't seen it by now, a doubling of studios, every single studio hiring people, right? Mm-hmm. Naughty Dog, Rockstar employees just went to turn 10 the other day.
Yeah, like I wanted to quickly address it. Like, I don't think people understand. I know most people they don't like motorsport, and that's fine. But when is the last time?
Frauds. They're casual frauds. That's why.
When is the last time we've heard Turn 10 hiring or anything for a part of their staff? It's been over a decade. Like, if that doesn't say something to somebody, I don't know what will, because that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
FC, try muting your Google Hangouts mic. I think it's getting feedback. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, with Gears 5, I'm super excited about this game. It's one of my most anticipated for 2019, and let me tell you, my list is taking a beating, okay? Anthem was up there for me, and we all know how that turned out. And some other games, you know what I'm saying? Sekiro was good, kind of came through in the clutch, but Gears, I think people are sleeping on that. The Coalition was kind of taking the approach, because, like, you got to think, they're taking the established franchise. You got to, you can't take too many risks, but with this one, man, they're putting the pedal to the metal, and I'm super super excited to see what they can do with this. I'm digging the storyline. I'm digging the risks they're going to be going. The semi-open world. I honestly said it's going to be nominated for a Game of the Year. I didn't say it's going to win it, but like if you look at the list of potentials out there, what would be the competition to Gears 5?
Resident Evil 2
Game of
and
the Year.
Sekiro, honestly. Yeah. Resident Evil 2, Sekiro. If Last of Us comes out, no matter if it's a turd, which we know it's not going to be, but even if it sucks, that game is probably going to win Game of the Year no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. We just got to keep shit 100 here.
But you're absolutely sorry to cut you off, Dealer. I mean, Last of Us has a shoe-in. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the first one. I thought the game was great. I did not think it was God's gift to gaming, like a lot of people did. But I thought it was a great game. Plain and simple, a great game, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being just a great game. You know what I mean? But the thing is with Naughty Dog, what they capture is they write so well. Their characters are so well written. They don't mess around when it comes to voice performance. So they get it. So they get the nuances of people actually speaking down to a T. And that's what sucks people in during their games, is how incredible their storytelling is. But the gameplay itself, I couldn't get through Uncharted 4 a second time. I got through it once. I enjoyed it, just like I going to see a summer movie. But a second time, I was like, yeah, this really isn't anything that great to play. I mean, it's just that's what Naughty Dog excels at. That's why Last of Us 2 is a shoe-in for a Game of the Year. I agree 100%. Gears 5, I'm sorry I didn't get to chime in real quick. I know I'm on a tangent here.
Do it.
King of it. I'm telling you, Gears 5, exactly what I heard to piggyback off Dealer, and I can't remember who else. Dude, I'm telling you, this is. What are you laughing at, guy? You laughing at me now?
Do I look like a clown to you?
Yeah, right. Excuse me?
Excuse me, you laughing at me?
You know what I mean? But seriously, Gears 5, they have the reins this time. They've got a staff. I'm telling you, man. Gears 5 is going to blow people away. And the people that aren't impressed, like, the fanboys that aren't impressed are just going to be saying, great, it's a big deal. It's just more Gears. Just more Gears.
Gears. Love God of War, Gran Turismo, and all that other shit that has.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I like all those games, right? Like, God of War 2018 was fucking phenomenal. Like, Uncharted 4, I really liked it. But there are a lot of entries in these titles. Like, I don't think people remember.
Yeah, well, they've been doing Gran Turismo for 20-something years.
Yeah.
People forget it. Like, what?
But I mean, there's a lot.
Microsoft has the chance at 2 Game of the Years this year, and that's Gears and Ori. And I think, these 2 games have really good chances at, Sans. Like, if The Last of Us doesn't come out this year, which I'm starting to think it is, if it doesn't, then those games have really good chances at, not just getting nominated, but actually winning something there, because they're going against, Resident Evil 2. They're, what else?
Sekiro.
I don't know. Yeah, Sekiro. I think Sekiro could, get nominated for it. Yeah, but so when it comes to anticipated games this year, once they announced Gears last year, I'm like, yep, that's going right up to number 1, and then Ori came first, so Ori was at number 1, and then they announced Gears. I'm like, okay, Ori's at number 2, Gears is at number 1, and then the Outer Worlds got announced. I'm like, okay, that's at number 1, and my list just kept piling on. I'm like, stop talking about great games here, because my backlog. Sorry,
I agree 100%. I'm telling you, man, Ori is such a sleeper on a lot of people. Ori the Will of the Wisp is fantastic. Or Will of the Wisp, the new one coming out, right? I can't remember the subtitle. Absolutely. That's right. I mean, the original Ori, I loved it. I look forward to the next one. The only thing that could honestly threaten any The Last of Us year for Game of the Year would be Cyberpunk. The darlings in the industry are CD Projekt Red at the moment. I'm telling you, they can do almost no wrong. And I have no doubt they're just going to knock the ball out of the park with Cyberpunk.
So
I keep hearing The Last of Us is definitely coming out. It's likely to come out this year. Honestly, it might not, but they're saying that there's a strong possibility. And Cyberpunk is like at least 2020 minimum. We know that.
Is it that far off? Yeah, you think?
What about?
They said that they made the reveal trailer for it years before they were even in production on it.
Oh, I know. They did that. They did that basically just based off of concept work. And knowing the pen and paper RPG background, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I personally don't think that The Last of Us 2 is going to be coming out this year. But if it does, I'll take the L's, man. I'll be.
They don't got to be no L's. I mean, if it does, it does. If it doesn't,
that's how the show
dealer,
works.
You
shit changes, man.
He wants an L. He gets an L.
Yeah, if I want an L, I'll take an L. Okay, all right.
I'm sitting on an L-shaped chair, smoking an L-shaped cigarette, playing on my L-shaped controller. I got
dealer, you know how it is, though. Like, you make predictions, man. People are like, "I'm cutting this tape. I'm saving it for 40 years.
Cut it. God damn it, he was right again. Fuck.
For the right time, and then I'm gonna bring it out. And you catch that L.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's how it is, man. Like Last of Us 2, from what I'm hearing, it could come out this year, but you never know. Shit changes.
It's true. We'll get more details for sure on Cyberpunk. That should be on Microsoft stage. So yeah, this year we shall see at the later part of the year. But man, I think Gears has a big chance to shine, man. In that time slot. What's up, Titan? Do you get abducted by aliens or what?
No, my mic was muted right there. I was like screaming for like let's transition from the L's, all the L's to the main topic of the night. That's what I'm thinking.
Titan L heard L. He's like, huh?
Let's start handing them out, man. There's plenty gift wrapped over here.
Titan, you're so loud you could talk through your muted mic. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mike's like,
I didn't know that you were muted.
Yeah, I didn't know. We're still hearing you through your muted mic. FC, what do you think of Gears, the release date, the rumored, all that stuff? What do you think, man?
I will. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, just make sure everything's good. Yeah, no, I think them releasing it, if this rumor is true, releasing it at that time frame in September is a great idea. Because first of all, I think Microsoft should start releasing their games offset of the major periods like the fall or holiday periods, and kind of do what Sony does with their games now. You know what I mean? Like release it in spring or pretty much where the drought is. And because there's no Forza this year, that's a perfect time to put Gears before Call of Duty and all those games. So it's a great idea. And I just want to touch upon what Dealer said about how, like, when you think about Gears, like, you know, the same old Gears, but this Gears is different. First of all, like God of War, they're doing something different. You know what I mean? This is Coalition's actual first real attempt at Gears. And I mean, I can't wait, man. All those, you know, they got the adventure aspect to it, and it's not the same corridor shooter that we, or maybe even PlayStation guys, know Gears to be. So
I agree.
Well, those guys get mad when you tell them that the game's going to look good. So it's kind of weird. Right. It's like they'll show you a picture of a cutscene KhAoS, which looks phenomenal, and then you show them a cutscene Marcus, and like that's a cutscene, So they get really offended that the game is going to be one of the best looking games of all time, and that it's probably going to be really high quality. Gears 4 is like a 84 meta, so Gears 5 is only going to go up.
Exactly, it's 84, and it's honestly gonna be game of your contender. And they also get mad if you say 4K 60. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Coalition's no slouches, bro.
I mean, I don't buy the 4K 60 in the campaign, but they're gonna give you something that's gonna look damn good above 1080p. I bet you.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna push it as far as they can, I believe. So we'll find out.
I bet you they give us the option we were talking about back when we were talking about Rage 2. You're gonna get a 60 frames per second option, even for campaign, for Gears 5, in my opinion, and it's going to look smooth. It's going to be buttery. It's going to be incredible. The other thing a lot of ponies don't like is, whenever people it's not as good as Uncharted. No, it demonstrably is a better third-person shooter than Uncharted.
Demonstrably.
If it wasn't for Gears, there wouldn't have been.
I'm going Mensa on this one, guys. I'm going to the Mensa category. Right? It's demonstrably better. I know. Uncharted's got storytelling and Nate's quippies and all this nonsense. Hey, and don't forget about Victor goddamn Sullivan. And,
quit hating G-Man.
That stuff. Yeah. No, because I do like Uncharted. I
keep hating G-Man. Keep on going.
Sons of bitches. I've got a source right here. Wait a second.
I see a lot of PlayStation guys, and whenever I hear this, I can't help but roll my eyes. There's some extremists out there, I should say, that always say, you look at what Sony has done, with 1.8 teraflops versus 6 on the X, and I'm like, are you fucking stupid? It has nothing to do with power. It's talent. It's time. It's time.
Yes.
You look at some of like Gran Turismo, for example. I know, that's a huge debate between, motorsport fans. Gran Turismo has, at the minimum, on most of their games, had twice the amount of time that Turn 10 has had for any of their games, period. Time is a very crucial factor into making a game, where you just let it, just incubate, let it boil and do what it needs to do. And a lot of Sony guys don't grasp this concept, and it just blows my mind. Like, well, look how much better, the Uncharted or God of War, this and that looks better than, Xbox. And I'm like, you guys, you don't understand.
Obviously, they haven't seen Gears of War 4 on the X. That looks like, if you're not impressed with that, then you're not impressed with some of the best of PC, because on the X, they've already confirmed that's running at like high settings.
Yep.
And that looks absolutely phenomenal. Another thing is, like you said it perfectly, time is the great divide here. Sony do give their studios a lot of time, and you got to applaud them for that.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer said that they are now giving teams time to build interesting worlds and characters.
And proof is in the pudding, especially with Gears of War. Gears 4 versus Gears 5, they have an extra year on that, and look how much better it looks than its predecessor.
With more devs, and they've already got all the tech built for it. So
exactly.
Point me out a concept that ponies do understand other than consoles sold, okay?
Xbox is trash.
They
ain't got no games.
Yeah, right.
Gosh, fucking ex-sluts on Suicide Watch.
Yeah, sure. So before
Microsoft went to Sony.
Before Titan loses his mind, because he said, by the way, Titan, since we're doing we have OBS, so this is displaying. So when you put a message up, I don't know if you guys know this, but everybody sees it. So don't put any weird messages in there. But he's like, yeah, go to the juicy topics. Go to the juicy topics.
Get the juice.
These are juicy, man. Hey, what's more juicy than the Xbox One update that's coming around the corner? Let's talk about that. That's juicy. Yeah, so there's a new Xbox.
Just did a Ubisoft right there.
What are we going to be allowed to do? What's juicy about this?
All right, so it's super juicy here. I think you're going to be able to tell which people are on which systems, because Xbox Live is going all over the place on mobile, on PC and stuff like that. So that's going to be one of the updates.
I know, be a little pony icon next to your name if you're on PlayStation.
PlayStation icons, Nintendo, all kinds of stuff like that. All right, so it's going to be coming out in May, right? So it's changing friends, messages, and games and apps. Like I said, you're gonna have icons next to people's names. Let's see. So that's about it, man. You guys excited for this?
Actually, there's another thing that is worth mentioning. There's an update that's fixing the video corruption bug
on YouTube,
on the Netflix and YouTube app. If you watch my videos, right, a lot of times it'll freeze and go to green or purple or weird gray. Everything just explodes. And it freezes on the screen, and that's a bug. So Microsoft are bringing that out to insiders right now, and that's good. That's good, because you put a lot of time into a video, and the last thing you want is some bullshit on the screen.
It's true.
Yeah.
We got a Patreon question from AshtreyGaming, specifically for Dealer, because he's the tech guy. He says, I need to buy an external drive, and I was looking at a 6 terabyte, but with next generation coming soon, would it be wise to look at an SSD instead?
Real quick, Ashtray, you don't need to buy one until you fill your hard drive up, man.
Until you start playing games.
Hey, I had a lot of people be like, wow, how much money was that? Like money emojis and all that stuff. Like, yeah, it is a pretty penny, but how many of you motherfuckers have 3 or 4 Xboxes and 6 controllers, right?
Yep.
I mean, the SSD is about $200 for a terabyte after tax and shipping or whatever.
That ain't bad.
Probably 170, 180. That's not bad, because the performance is night and day. The one I just got the other day is a 3.1 drive. So on the next Xbox, I'll have 3.1 USBs, I'm sure. It'll be substantially faster on that box than it is on this one. And it's already really, really fast on this one. So what I would say is just wait until those systems come out before you spend the money if you don't need the storage. Because by the time the box comes out in a year, you'll be able to save another 20, 30, 40 bucks on the same terabyte. And yeah, we'll just go SSD, bro. Because there's going to be one in the Anaconda. You're not going to want your games to, add 30 seconds to a load time when you're used to playing everything on the internal. You might as well just go all SSD.
Yep, SSD all the way, except if you're broke like me because you're having a kid. So slow loading times all the way. Do you think storage?
I plug this kid into the Xbox and the load times are shit.
So do you think storage is going to be an issue next generation dealer? The fact that people have backwards compatibility, it's rumored for PlayStation. They have these huge old hard drives, right? Externals that are like 8 terabytes big, and then you're going to be getting SSD into the next gen systems with super fast loading times, and you have your whole library, and you said yourself that 1 terabyte SSD is like $200. Either you're going to have to not install all your games, or you're going to have to put them on a slower hard drive. What do you think, man? Do you think it's going to be an issue?
Well, I think when you see because from what I heard, the dev kit for the next system is the cold boot is 3 seconds from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds on this thing. So right now, if you hit the power button on the Xbox One after you just plug it into the wall and it brings up the green screen, that's like 45 seconds. Go from that to 3 seconds. So that's how fast this thing is, right? And if it's an M.2 drive, that is significantly faster than any kind of SATA-powered or USB-powered SSD, which, if it is M.2, that's kind of what these leaks are saying. So that means you get 64 lanes of 64 different things that it can queue up. And it's just a lot more efficient and faster than any kind of, like I said, other drive. So you're not going to want to go from that to slower hard drives. But if it comes between that choice or not installing anything else, you're probably going to want to keep everything installed on your bigger, older drive. It's still going to be faster on the newer systems than it is on the X because everything else is faster. But that's kind of the reality you're going to be faced with. That was a big question. Like, why would Microsoft and Sony spend so much money on these internal solid-state flash drives? And only for most people to end up playing all of their games from a damn external that's slow anyway, right?
Yep.
That's a significant portion of the budget. So that's something they have to figure out. Honestly, in my opinion, the smartest solution would be to figure out some way to have some kind of partition of that SSD. So no matter what game you're playing, they temporarily store that stuff there. And every game gets those flash memory benefits.
Yeah.
No matter what drive it's installed on.
I couldn't have said
kind of like a super fast cache, right?
I could have said it better myself. Yeah, that was a great question. I'm sure Ashtrey's happy that you answered those questions for him. If you
I'm sorry, Ashtray. Hey, just wait. Yeah, let the price come down.
Yeah, just wait. Let it happen. Yeah.
Fill up your normal hard drive first.
I like turtles, man.
Ashtray cracks me up, man. Shout out to Ashtray. But yeah, it's like real quick. It's just like a visual representation. It's like a 15 lane highway compared to like that same data going in the back of an alley.
Old rock road next to the back house,
Yeah.
Back of an alley. I just got a terrible visual.
Load times have been a real big issue for me, at least, man. You're waiting minutes and minutes and minutes for some of these games to load. But yeah, that's going to be awesome. Looking forward to that the next gen. But keeping with system updates, there's a rumor out there for PlayStation 4 fans. You're going to be treated to some awesome news if this leak / rumor is correct. According to Twitter user Tidix, with a good track record, according to PlayStation leaks, fans will soon gain the ability to gift games from the PS Store. So trophy progression is also rumored to be coming to PlayStation 4, as well as the ability to pin games to the dashboard. So anyway, game gifting coming to the PlayStation 4. Supposedly, it's a rumor, so take it with a hashtag grain of salt. What do you guys think of this update? If you guys have a PlayStation 4, I don't, so I'm a fraud, so I'll take an L for that. Anybody have a PlayStation planning on giving out gifts? It might be around the corner. Anybody?
I'm gonna have to plug mine in. I
gotta dust it off real quick. Nick, you just got a PlayStation, right? You excited about this, man?
No, but man, my wife.
I know, man.
More than me. I'm just saying, like, okay, cool. We can gift stuff. I don't have very many friends on PlayStation, so I'm not going to be gifting anything out. So, but good to y'all that have.
I'll be your friend. Go ahead, send me some.
List.
You know what I mean?
All right, I got you.
But I'll use it because I got a couple ponies that I'm friends with on
man.
On the PlayStation. So I mean, it's a good feature, and finally, that you know something that we as Xbox guys are used to. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal for us, but for them, man, it's a good thing for PlayStation guys, and just to give to be able to buy games for people. I mean, that's cool. So.
Oh, but that didn't matter.
I mean,
But that didn't
PlayStation
matter,
True. Features, but you know, it is.
But that
Yeah.
didn't matter.
PlayStation, these ponies say they sure don't care about the features and all the, all the services and this and that. But what do you know? Sony's coming out with all these features and services that Xbox has had. So apparently someone cares about it.
Listen. Sony guys are like Apple dudes, man. It's not relevant until Apple does it.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
First of all, don't put me in that box.
you know it's true, man. It's like Xbox guys like, yo, dude, we already had folders for like 5 years ago. Now you're saying folders are the next big thing. Welcome to 2019. You can game share,
Yep.
or
Well, now today they care about
Can they even
servers,
game
right?
share?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's different though. It's not the same as the Xbox version.
All right.
Sounds
Well,
like too much work.
It's just it's quality of life things that it should be there. Period. Like it's kind of cringy. It's very cringy when people say, well, we don't need this. You might not need it, but somebody out there probably appreciates this stuff. Like I know there's a Sony guy telling me it went to the extent of saying, not only does game gifting not matter, but getting refunds. And I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
Yo, let me tell you. Okay.
That is the
Okay.
dumbest thing.
yeah.
But real quick, while we're on this topic, and I know Titans wants to get to the next one, but just about like quality of life, I think the PlayStation Nation will finally understand why Xbox guys say Xbox Live is so much better. I mean, they'll find out soon.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to some of the meat and potatoes so Titan will be happy. Let's talk about Xbox Game Pass versus PS Now. There's some things out there, interesting tidbits of information out there. It's been revealed. Dealer talked about this in one of his videos. It was one of the topics of discussion with Xbox Game Pass. Great video. Go check that out. It's been revealed out there that PlayStation Now has 700,000 users, and there's some. It's like a pie chart going around, right? And it was like trying to show that Xbox Game Pass accounts for like 15% of the Netflix style business model, whereas PlayStation Now is at a 52%. And you cut down all these numbers and you start adding them up, even if it was today when they did this, but this was Q3 of 2018. I kind of broke it up as best as I could with math, and math, I mean, numbers, complicated, right? But yeah, we did that, and it just didn't make sense with the numbers. So I don't know who put this pie graph together, but it's complete bullshit. So 700,000.
Did he at least color in the line?
Yeah,
so.
they're colored in. Props to that. But yeah, it's tough for some people to do math. But we've heard from the mouth of Phil Spencer, and this was in an interview, a real one, right?
Yep.
Right there, dealer. This isn't made up, right?
Got that. That was good. He's down.
Fired.
Down for the count.
Hey, turns out Phil Spencer is in Africa giving interviews right now.
But yeah, he said that there at that time, and that was a while ago, right? He said there's millions of users.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
like when he says millions, remember so the minimum, the base minimum for their monthly active users has to be greater than 2 million, because that's what millions is. It's plural. That means more than one.
Mm-hmm.
And that in and of itself, if the base minimum is 2 million monthly active users, that's almost 3 times that of PlayStation Now, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I think.
Well, that was subscribers, right?
Yeah. We're not talking about like revenue or anything like that. But subscribers. He said millions.
But you can figure out the
But what? Hey, the response by a lot of haters is that Xbox is doing, Microsoft is doing these dollar deals for 3 months, and that's why the numbers are up, right?
But it doesn't. That's irrelevant to the to the situation. You look at not just Microsoft or this tech industry as a whole. You look at anything that's trying to sell you a product. Netflix does it. Car salesmen do it. Obviously, their numbers are going to boost up when they do sales. That's business. There's nothing.
Just got a month of Netflix, that first month for free, and they're complaining about this.
Yeah,
did they ever complain when PlayStation Now did deals? Because they've done a ton of deals.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a fanboy excuse. Every company does this. Every company makes deals, and it's to grow the consumer base.
Yeah.
Once they hook them in, then they've got them. What's $10? What's $9 more a month? Really? Like, that's what they're doing. All right, here's $1 a month for a month or 3 months or whatever. And then they got you. Then they're like, then they see this value and they're like, holy crap, this is absolutely amazing. And then they got them. And then what do you know? That's how they got their monthly subscribers going forward.
It's completely immaterial to like whether they did it through deals or not. The amount of subscribers they have now is impressive, no matter which way you try and slice it. You know, they could have been offering, you know, $1 monthly things for the last 2 years. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, they got people into a great service, period, and it shows because people are still signing up to it.
And it changes the way those people think about getting their games. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing that they might do with Game Pass. So they might start giving Game Pass members early access, kind of like Ultimate Edition owners for their Game Pass members. You might get something here or there. They've already brought you the ability to buy like season passes and kind of use that through Game Pass through bundles. Like they're catering content around Game Pass because it is a significant driving force of not only their revenue but growth as well. Gamers are playing more than ever. Independent developers now have an actual reliable source of income. Every month their game is in Game Pass, they get X amount of dollars, depending on Y variable, right? So this helps a lot of developers, and I think now that we've seen Wolfenstein, Tomb Raider, all these big games that are actually really good going to Game Pass, you'd have to be, I don't know, I'd say you think again if you're not subscribed and you value in general, right?
Yeah, there is a Game Pass game this month for May that did the 3 days early. It was Descenders 1.0 or something. The people that have Game Pass can play that game 3 days early before its actual due date, and so now we're wondering which game is going to be the next one to do that, and so on and so forth. Maybe that's in the contract with some of these developers and publishers that Microsoft works with to get their games into the service, and it's a very good benefit,
Dealer, you just lost any pony that was listening to you by using the phrase "Y variable." They're like, "What the fuck is that?" Y variable.
He's bringing math into it.
Something else too that's more far fetched that I had a conversation with someone about is the possibility of other publishers bringing in their entire libraries for X amount of dollars extra a month. Ooh. So they said that they're less sure on that, but they do know that it's been talked about. But at the end of the day, like Game Pass is the thing. It's the most successful gaming service there is. It's one of those pro consumer services there are, and it's not going nowhere.
There's another thing too. To add, like, because the one negative that Sony guys will say is that you're renting your games, you can't, once the game is gone, you can't get it. But then I have to remind them, like, you could also buy the game from Game Pass at a discount. So it's even better than Netflix.
Get the discount. Get the discount. None of the first party games are going to disappear, and half of them motherfuckers red box everything they play anyway.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
You could buy your game off of Game Pass, people. For those who don't know, so
let me destroy this argument without even going down that road. Oh, you like to rent your games instead of buying? Yeah, I'd love to rent these one and done games, throw them to the side, get them out of my backlog, never have to worry about them again. PlayStation Now isn't crap compared to Game Pass in any way. It's like comparing Gaikai to the Azure servers. Next!
PlayStation Now is
fired.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I just recently got my PlayStation. I was like, let me check out this PlayStation Now. Let me see what it's about. And let me just browse through here. And PlayStation Now is trash. I just got to be honest with you. It is. I'm just going to say, if you're ponying
taking shots.
It just is. Compared to the service of what Game Pass is, PlayStation Now can't even sniff its jockstrap. Not even.
Oh shit!
Like now it's not good. It's just.
All right, sniff its jockstrap.
Quote of the night.
I like it.
So anyway,
you know what I would like, Salty?
What the real topic? No, we're not. The real topic.
Yes, you're right.
You want to talk about another Xbox update? Is that what you said? No, I was kidding. Let's move.
Why are you fighting me? Yeah. We're friends, Salty. We're all friends here.
So bad.
Do not fight the progression.
Let's get into the main topic of the night, so Titan will stop bothering me. Shall we? Let's talk about it. So something's happening. A team up. And we're not talking about the latest Avengers movie. No, we're talking about the team up that nobody saw coming. Sony and Microsoft to explore a strategic partnership. This was announced earlier today. So this is news coming out of Tokyo and Redmond. So the Sony Corporation and Microsoft announced on Thursday that the two companies will partner on new innovations to enhance customer experiences in their direct-to-customer entertainment platforms and AI solutions, aka Microsoft Azure data center-based solutions. Sony's game and content streaming services will now be using some of those services. Not a lot of details have been released, obviously, but this is a crazy announcement considering Sony was one of the first to start game streaming with their Gaikai servers with PlayStation Now, but we all know how that turned out. Lots of input lag, and Microsoft just hit $1 trillion as a company. They're famous for having the most when it comes to the most servers out there when it comes to the cloud. One of the best clouds out there. Google is announced Stadia, and I think that this is pushing more and more of this forward. I've said this in other videos that I didn't ever really think that Microsoft thought Sony was a competitor, and this kind of proves my point. If you think someone's a competitor in business, you don't do this, okay? You don't make business deals. You try to stomp them into the ground. So this is kind of a team up situation. They're working with Nintendo on things, and they're working with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we'll start off with Dealer because I want to get his take first, and you can go with yours. But what did you think when you heard of this news, and what do you think how is it gonna affect gaming in general? All that stuff. What do you think, Dealer?
What about these? How about these motherfuckers with big ass foreheads that have just ate so much crow today alone that the fucking birds there's no birds. They're all dead and they're gone. Like it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. This has been on the wall for quite a while. We've been telling these guys, look, bro, Sony just had a job listing go out where they're trying to get their games on all devices through PS Now. Mm-hmm. They're like, nah, son. I'm like, hey, bro, they already put their games on the PS3, the PS4, Samsung TVs, PlayStation TV, PC, and more. They're like, I don't care, son. I'm like, okay, well, what about now when they're saying, hey, we're pretty much admitting that PlayStation Network and PS Now is trash. We can't compete because Microsoft has spent tens of billions of dollars on this infrastructure. Why do it yourself when you're not going to be able to catch up? It's impossible. Microsoft are still investing, will not stop anytime soon. Sony don't have the capital to do that. Mm-hmm. You're going to go with Microsoft. Now, I do believe they chose Microsoft over Amazon because Microsoft had been doing the gaming side of things for decades now, right? So they have a lot more experience on the server side with that kind of stuff. And to bring Sony stuff, they said it right there in the report itself that the Azure servers are going to be used to stream their content, like PlayStation Now, and basically be used for their games. So keep this in mind. You're living in a world where now PlayStation, like Ubisoft, like many other companies, are using Azure servers for their games, and you're going to see that going forward. You're going to see news of Sony using cloud compute sometime in the future. You're going to see more available. You're going to see more available crossplay between these two as well. They're on the same damn network pretty much now. If you're a hardcore Xbox guy and you don't want this for Sony, think about that for a second. It's not 2013-14 anymore. You want those guys to be competitive. You want Microsoft to do better as well. Microsoft are raking in a ton of money from this, which we know they're going to put back in their own games. They're investing more in games than anybody right now. They doubled their studios. They've hired so much new talent. They're rolling on all fours here. They're really going fast right now. I'm trying not to make a sex joke right now. So what I'm trying to say is Microsoft and Sony, it's not like you said, Salty. They're not going to do this. They're just trying to crush you. They're really competing with Google, Amazon, stuff like that, and the big on the grand stage where Sony as a whole isn't even worth what Xbox Live, the Azure server by itself is worth. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not even on the same page, but they are competitors in the console space. And it looks like they stand a lot to gain from helping Sony bring their games to any device through cloud gaming and stuff. That's why they're doing this. So just once more, any Sony guys out there talking about, yeah, fuck you got to buy a PlayStation to play my game. First off, we all got PlayStation, most of us, so you're not special. And secondly, no, I don't. I'm going to be able to play your games on cell phones. I'm going to be able to play your games on anywhere Sony wants them to be. They already have them on PC. They're going to put day and date titles in there just like Game Pass eventually. And if you didn't see this coming before now, You're a blind fanboy.
Yeah. I don't know how somebody couldn't have seen this coming. Like, a lot of us have been talking about this for months, years even, and like when I used to do my own podcast, this was a frequent subject and I found it personally interesting, and I told people, I warned people multiple times and they're like, oh, you have no idea what you're talking about. Okay.
You never do what Microsoft are doing, haha.
It's like, look, Sony's trying to push their own cloud infrastructure, and it didn't work very well. Gaikai, when I told people that Gaikai does not have the quality, the amount of raw bandwidth that Azure takes up is insane. Gaikai cannot touch Azure on any planet. The quality's not there for Gaikai. The amount of coverage across the globe is not there it's not on Gaikai's side. You look at, forget Azure, take Azure out of the picture, try and compare the next two, Amazon Web Services and what Google's doing. Gaikai can't even touch those. Like, if you, the perfect saying is, if you can't beat them, join them. And Sony understands their cloud infrastructure is nowhere near Microsoft's, Google's, or
nowhere
Amazon.
Near the top three, bro. And you got to know that they went in there and they saw a demo of xCloud and they said, wow, you got the latency up there. Because people forget through PS Now, that is 720p as well. That's the max.
Yeah.
So they go in there and see 1080p. It will be 1080p plus. At 60 FPS, and they're like, wow, you got the latency that low? And they went in there, I guarantee they went in there and saw xCloud, and they were convinced.
Yeah, and that, bringing that up just now, that piques my interest even more about what they're trying to do with xCloud. We've been hearing behind the scenes that, Microsoft is really, they're getting their strides going with this service, and it's doing well. But if they're now they've convinced Sony to jump on board, as well as all of these other developers and publishers, there's something there with xCloud, that is working, and I'm really interested to see more of it. But like this antiquated thinking of, what you have is yours and what I have is mine. We're gonna have to be tied down to a box. Like, I'm telling you guys that that way is almost becoming irrelevant at this point. Eventually, Sony's going to do exactly what Microsoft is doing. And it's going to boil down to the point of what I like from gaming, which is I just want to play good games, period. And that's what we're going towards, that goal. So, a lot of the super extremists on both sides, that kind of ammunition is getting taken away, because both sides, remember, these are corporations. They want to make money at the end of the day. And people are like, well, Sony will never do that. They're too traditional. Why would they sacrifice, the hundreds of millions or the 100+ million potential console customers? Because they can achieve a billion plus. The revenue from, not just one revenue stream, which is their console, but getting it from the console, getting it from mobile, getting it from PC, will completely circumvents just one revenue stream. These corporations understand this, and they want more subscribers, they want more revenue, they want more money. Period.
Yeah.
This is
real quick. Wait, hold that thought. Gotham guy with the $5 super chat. He said, "Thank you, dealer, for the info on the YouTube screen glitch. I thought it was just my system. Laugh out loud." He had to correct it. He said, "Thanks, Salt."
You're not alone. A lot of people think their shit's breaking. So yeah, it's a glitch.
Go ahead, Titan.
Let me pop this beer real quick for this one. Shit's about to get wild. Let's get this going. Thing is, you guys are putting up a lot of good points about this, but there's so much more that we're not even going to have time to cover. That's why I wanted to start this early, because when two giant corporations like this merge in any way, make a deal in any way, there's so many questions that got to be answered. Where does it start? Where does the deal end? What comes into play? What doesn't come into play? There's like, all this had to be ironed out. This had to be so long in the works, just this deal in and of itself. Now, so to me, we're just scratching the surface of this. So much of this news is going to be coming out for so far long in the future. Like, that's why this is like the biggest thing that's happened since sliced bread for pretty much for gamers, because So to me, it looks like, and mind you, this is just scratching the surface. It looks to me like PlayStation will essentially be renting Azure servers for streaming. It shows, it literally gives you a fact, the unpreparedness for the future, okay, that PlayStation just wasn't ready for. And there's so much work that Microsoft put in that Sony just cannot do. So Microsoft is literally saving Sony in the streaming regard. If you don't think so, you're a moron. The dealer said Sony as a whole, and I'm glad he said this. Sony as a whole isn't worth the value of the Azure servers. And I got fools on Twitter saying Gaikai is equivalent to Azure. I mean, you can't make it out. So I'm losing my mind over here on Twitter. Like, how do these people even come up with this? Gaikai can't even compute.
Sources don't matter anymore, Drago.
Yeah.
I mean, so Gaikai can't do what xCloud or Stadia will ever be able to do. Anyone that knew anything knew that, right? So Sony had to rent servers from somebody to stream games. Turns out it's going to be Microsoft, right? Like, and whether you think that they're competing or not, that's another topic. But I mean, I don't know how you say they're not competitors. I mean, they're in the same realm. They're selling the same. They're selling the same stuff. Just it's one company to another. To me, there's just no getting around the competition.
Wait,
because
Titan.
Just because of competition doesn't mean you can't be friendly.
I didn't say they weren't competitors. I said Microsoft doesn't view them as competition, right? Because you look at it in the grand scheme of things, and it makes sense, right? I mean,
bigger fish to fry.
It's bigger competitors out there. They're worth $1 trillion. You got to look at the ecosystem.
All right, so you're going with it. Okay. Well, I see what you're saying with that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's other people that will say the same thing, exactly what I'm saying, and they're not talking about what you're talking about. I mean, there's people that say Gaikai is on level with Azure. I mean, you can't. Let me get on with my story here.
Keep going.
Oh man! Like first of all, all the morons on Twitter that thought Gaikai was worth anything, take that L right now, because you know, just take the L. You're fanboy morons. Let's get past that real quick. That's automatic, and this absolutely proves it. How them joining Microsoft and having Microsoft hand them servers to stream. You know, this proves that Gaikai can't do what they want to do, right? Anyone disagree with that?
Nope.
No, thank you. So where does the line start and end? And more importantly, what is Microsoft getting out of this? Is this strictly like renting a service on a massive scale? Is this just purely monetary? So I've got a lot of questions, and if you guys got answers or even guesstimates to what you think any of this is, I'm all ears. Go ahead.
Well, they said something of audio. I was gonna quickly say that I reading the article, they're getting something that has to do with how, because remember, Sony is in the entertainment industry. You know, they do what they do with movies and music and whatnot. They have some really good technology behind their cameras. Yep. And so they're acquiring technology that revolves around that. And so I was listening to Rand's video. It might have been it wasn't Rand. It was it was somebody, Spawnwave. And so he's talking about how he's theorizing that, we might see a situation where those technologies are getting built into the Kinect, and we might see Kinect return in, a way that will probably benefit more people, because so the technology that's in Kinect, they had, I think these people are based out in Arabia or something like that. That may
Arabia, you say?
You really didn't just say that. You
motherfucker just said Aladdin.
Aladdin's bringing back the Kinect. You heard it here first.
Wait. We're gonna go into the Ishtar fucking desert.
Listen.
Come on, man. This is all I gotta say. Real quick. This is all I gotta say about this whole deal. I can wrap it up real quick, okay? Hey, you, get onto my cloud, okay? That's what Microsoft said. Sony said, God damn it. We got nothing. That Gaikai, but can we even call that a cloud, or is that just like two little VCR-sized servers?
Our cloud's full of bird shit. What's going on?
Yeah, so let me quickly reiterate that the technology that was based in the Kinect 2.0, I'm pretty sure they're based in the UAE. Okay, now. From what I understand, the technology in the Kinect 2.0, it was good at, for what it did for the consumers, but it didn't really boil back into the enterprise. I know they're doing other stuff with Kinect now, but, Microsoft is looking at this as a way to gain technology that they know is better. It's a mutual thing here where Sony understands that their cloud infrastructure that Microsoft has is way better than Gaikai, that can't be disputed. And the same can be said for the lens technology that Sony has in a lot of their cameras. A lot of it's better than what Kinect possesses now, and so they can use that and reinvest.
I gotta call. So you're telling me that Microsoft is gonna rent Azure servers and save Sony for some money and lens tech?
I'm saying this is a part of the contract.
It's
like you said,
they can do for each other.
Yeah, we don't know. Like you said, we don't know where this ends. Obviously, money's involved. Subscribers are going to be involved. This technology is going to be involved too, because it's going to boil back into their enterprise. And enterprise is very important to Microsoft. You think everything that Microsoft does, it all has to come back to enterprise. And Xbox, is a part of that now. This is just one of the fringe benefits when it comes to that. And Sony's technology for their cameras is really good. You can knock them for their movies, their music, or whatever, but their technology and their cameras.
They do got good sensors that they do, and I give Hannah credit for knowing about where this team's based and stuff, because a lot of people don't know that stuff. I actually forgot all about it, but so many cameras are way better than. Don't think Drago for a second that's why is the sensors, because most people's sensors that are in the business are way better than Kinect's. Kinect's from 2013. Right,
yeah,
so
shit too. You look at the company Red. They do 8K. They have the capability of shooting 8K film on those cameras, and anybody uses those cameras because the lens technology and everything in between is just so not revolutionary, but it's really advanced. Sony's tech when it comes to that stuff is something that Microsoft can really benefit on in the enterprise. And I'm not saying it's the only thing. It's just a part of it.
I need real quick. I need to get an 8K GIF going on here, man. That was the first mention of 8K. Let's get an 8K in the chat.
Two eyes.
The only
120 frames, bitch.
120 frames in each eye. All right. Go ahead.
I don't know. I just gotta slightly disagree with this. I see where you're coming from, but I'd be really hard pressed to ever see the Kinect come back in any way, shape, or form. If anything, this is going to be put into a VR headset maybe in the future.
But that's why I said
HoloLens as well.
That's why I said enterprise. I didn't say for the consumers.
Okay. Well, enterprise is a
Titan L.
Titan gets the L.
Well, so explain this enterprise.
Let's get some L's in the chat for Titan.
I need more explanation on this.
I need more beer.
Excuse me, Captain. We're talking about the enterprise here.
Basically, like on the business side of things, like for not really for the consumer grade stuff, it's more for corporations to use and some of their advanced projects.
All right, someone else jump on this.
Titan's like, nah.
I'm raging as it is with these morons on Twitter.
Anybody else?
I don't need the source.
Nick, what do you think of this? FC, go ahead, man.
Yes, sir. All right, my turn.
Yes.
All right, so I know, Dealer, you guys are probably aware. I know the Game Informer interviewed Sean Layden, and there's a quote here that I want to read real quick.
Nice.
He said that what we need to do is recognize all that, right? He says, we're not little gaming ghettos that are not federated or aligned at all. We're all part of the same gaming community. We just come at it through different doorways. I think the future will be extension of that metaphor. Your platform is not your hideaway. It's just your doorway to all these other gamer folk. So basically what he's trying to say is that you fucking Sony frauds talking about how Sony's going to be fucking traditional. Sean Layden said it himself that it was not going to be the case.
Yep.
And now you got proof in the fucking pudding, and you guys are still talking shit. Like,
bro,
I don't
they
get
doubled down after he said that, and some of these turds, they're still doing it.
and they still talk trash. Like I got one dude that I'm I don't want to say his name, but he has a massive forehead, and you should already know it. Yeah. Waterhead and he's short. So yeah, so I mean, what more do you need? Like the fact, like we mentioned before, that the PlayStation is finally going to get actual decent servers, and the fact that they cannot compete with Microsoft in the cloud space. And the rumor before this, like I don't think anyone actually saw that Microsoft was actually going to be the component that PlayStation was going to use. I thought it was going to be Amazon personally, and now that they were like, know what? Xbox or the Xur servers actually has more of a better gaming component, we're going to go with Microsoft. Like to me, everyone, I second to what everyone says here already on the podcast, that I don't even know what else to say, man. It's just like I did all my talking on Twitter, and I'm just happy that other Xbox guys like myself, Dealer, and people who've been trying to bash this shit over the PlayStation dudes. Like, this is gonna happen.
It's time to wake up. I don't know what it's gonna. I don't know what it takes. I don't know what it takes. What kind of iron mallet needs to be hit over your head of facts?
There's no more.
You're getting.
Steve Biden is turning into a Decepticon, right?
Decepticons assemble.
You can tell when
your internet's going crazy, bro.
Exactly. Anytime I'm about to get raise my voice, it gets like this.
Internet's like, calm the fuck down. I'm
exactly.
Internet gets
exactly. Like I said, there's no traditional consoles anymore, guys. Like just hey, you either adapt or you get left behind, man. It's as simple as that.
That's my Titan filter, man. Only one person can get loud in this panel.
No, what you just said actually just is the key. You either adapt or you get left behind. It's exactly why Sony did this.
Mm-hmm. And all the traditional people, they're going to be crying a river, right? The river is going to be flowing through social media. Man, I remember the good old days, man, when I just had one console and I had all these exclusives and everybody's playing nice now and the console wars are over. Man, I'm just loving this because there's some people on social media and there's some people on YouTube that built their channels off of console war bullshit, right?
Facts.
And
they're still in 2013 and 14.
Yes,
right?
they're losing their fucking minds right now. Can you imagine? Oh shit! What? They wake up, they're like, "What is this a joke?" Because you got to imagine they're pushing that narrative. Oh my god,
they're deleting tweets fast as fuck right now.
It's too late, man. It's too late. I already got them.
And besides all that, it's also you got to think of another, like all the business side aspects of like good cop, bad cop kind of thing. Like how can Microsoft can play this any way they want down the road? All right. So if streaming becomes a big thing, will they play it cutthroat? I mean, they could literally play it cutthroat on Sony, and they could just cut the servers off from them. They could charge whatever they want.
Cut the lights.
Yeah, they'll cut the lights on them. They'll do whatever they want. They'll have control, right? And so they need like an ironclad agreement, pretty much. I hope Sony did their homework on this, because once that contract is up, is Sony going to have enough time from here to there with paying Microsoft all this money to rent servers? Or are they going to have time to build their own servers? Because once this contract is up, so like Microsoft can do anything, right? And then
we know they're not going back to their own trash servers, Titan, no matter what. Right?
Yeah, there's that, and then
time to move back into the crack house.
You're right, and plus that, but in addition to that, by then, when this contract is up, years and years down the road, maybe a decade down the road, are consoles still a thing? Who knows, man? There's a lot to question about this, and a lot to. Yeah,
that's a great point.
Yeah, Nick, what do you think?
What if consoles aren't a thing? Well, you remember when we heard rumblings toward the beginning of the year, maybe a little later toward the year last year, about Sony talking about the future and what it's going to take and how times are changing and they're sort of heading in this direction. And I thought that was cool. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Sony's starting to come around. And then my question was, but how are they going to do that? Because like Dealer said, they don't have anything and they're not worth a whole lot of money compared to a bunch of the other companies. So it's like, where are these resources going to come from? How are you going to do it? And then even Titan's point, like, how are you going to catch up? Because you haven't even thought about this to begin with until recently. And then come to find out, this is their best idea is to go to Microsoft and say, hey, can we partner with this? Can we partner with you guys? And can you help us out a little bit? And so now that's the plan. Okay, cool. Good for Sony, but like I said, I wonder how this is going to work for future implications, because like Titan just said, what if consoles aren't a thing? You know what I mean? When consoles aren't a thing, then what happens? You know what I mean? And one more thing to add, like I hope Nintendo can see what Sony just did, and I hope that they would do the same thing and say, hey, Microsoft, can you please help us out, because our online service is trash.
Oh,
you need help. I hope that this breeds that trend, because right now, that's where I stand.
Nintendo is so strange. Honestly, they're going to outlive everybody. You know, once Xbox and PlayStation is long gone, Nintendo's still going to be there with their phone app for their online chat and stuff. Like Nintendo's just strange, but.
Nintendo's gonna real quick. Nintendo's just gonna outsurvive everyone because they build a bombing shelter. And they've got all the old tech that they're just gonna have to fall back on.
Yeah, let's say Nintendo. Let's say the Switch crashes somehow, and they're like, fuck, back to porn cards. Because that's where they started. Nintendo started in adult playing cards, just so you guys didn't know.
True.
Now you
That's
know.
where they're going.
Now you know.
Oh, man.
Straight
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, like you guys said, 10 years down from the line. Well, what happens if, hypothetically, if there are no more consoles? Is that when we'll start seeing? I think we might see this a little earlier than then, but will we start seeing, their subscription services start, crossing each other and going on, one side and the other? I kind of foresee that happening earlier, but way before that even happens. But it'll be interesting to see, what happens, because a lot of these corporations are envisioning a world where, the games you play are just games. It doesn't matter about the box, the device, whatever it is, and people just want to enjoy good games at the end of the day. And if they can tap into a lot of potential customers of games they haven't even played it, like obviously I don't bash on Halo, but I'm not the biggest Halo fan, but there are still millions of people that haven't even played the franchise on the other side, whether that's Nintendo or PlayStation. What happens if they can enjoy that now? Or
there's like millions of Halo fans just waiting to be found, right?
Yeah.
And I was texting Salty earlier, and I told him, I was told this is not the last of it. Like, you will hear more announcements like this. This is the first thing I woke up to. This is a big announcement, but they're not done. So just know that we're talking about Nintendo. We're talking about everybody. Mm-hmm. Like, Absolutely. They're not done announcing really cool stuff like this that you probably would have never thought, is coming. All right, real quick. That's a great way to end it, because I know Diller needs to get out of here. Real quick, KhAoS was telling Titan to calm down with the $2 super chat. Yeah, man. And then I got another super chat from Lentius Speaks. They ask, why didn't Sony go with Amazon? That's the question. I think Diller addressed this, right? Or someone did. Microsoft just has more experience in gaming, and their servers are better, so that's probably why.
Also cheaper.
Yeah, so they just made that deal, and it is what it is. We'll see what happens with it, but this has been a great episode. I'm glad that we got to the meat and potatoes early, so Titan, was appeased. I think it was a great episode. I want to give a special thanks to Dealer for hanging out with us, man. It's a blast. Let people know where they can find you. I think they already know, but where they can find you, my dude. Oh, yeah, it was a good time. Titan, drop that track. Drop it. We're waiting. It was a good time. I had a good time, and honestly, it's never been crazier to be in this community and to talk about games, because these companies are doing things you would have never thought of 4 or 5 years ago, right? Yep. So get used to it. There's more to come. I went on like a 3.5-4 minute rant in my video about it today. I mean, I'm just so much hypocrisy in this community, and I'm just crushing these motherfuckers because it gets old, dude. Like, you're the guy, you don't know what you're talking about. Meanwhile, you're the fucking idiot that's still damage controlling this, right? Yep. So, it's just a lot of pent up, like, holy shit, you dudes is really stupid. Just give up. You're still stuck in 2013, 14. You're not going to go nowhere. You're not going nowhere. You don't know anything. You brag about MPDs and nothing else, right? Like, that's all. And furthermore, ask yourself why this is a bad thing. Why don't you want better? Right? If I could get Sony games on Xbox and be like, fuck yeah, I want those badass games. Why can't you just say, hey,
maybe we could stand to gain some things from Microsoft, because you can. And just call it a day. Be real, right? So you can find me at Dealer Gaming on YouTube, Dealer_Gaming on Twitter, crushing non-source and frauds. And thank you guys for having me.
Awesome. Next up, we have Nintendo Direct. He started a fantastic new channel. You guys need to check it out. I'll put it in the description. It's called Studio Nintendo. He's putting out some nice covers of classic songs, man. Let people know where they can find you, dude.
You can find me on, my regular channel where I do the whole reactions and news and other just gaming topics is still Nintendo Direct. But the new channel, Studio Nintendo, one away from 100 subs, so I can actually get my own URL. So make that happen. I can get my own URL and tell you that it's Studio Nintendo. But regardless, Salty's going to leave that link there. Check that out. As soon as I hit 100, I have a video that's going to be going up for, special 100 sub thing for that channel. But either way, appreciate you having me on, man. Miss being on the podcast. Try to tune in every Thursday that I can, but really miss it. But glad to be on this one today.
Awesome. Good to have you back. Next up, we have G-Man. Where can people find you, man? Good talk. Good talk.
Sorry about that. You may find me where dreams never die. Seriously, you can find me at Soren6611 on Twitter. You could find me at gman1172 on YouTube, but I'm tired of being a phony. Now with this job, I'm probably never going to make another video. I get no time, so good luck with that. It's always wonderful being here and lending my voice. Awesome time.
Next up, we have Titan Drago. When are you going to be dropping the track, my dude?
All right, man. This week, dude. I'll start working on it tonight for you and Dealer. Okay, that's a promise.
Cool.
But Dealer said, give up is right, man. Just give up, clowns. Take the L. It's more manly to take an L than it is to just reject it completely and come up with more stupid things and compile your idiocracy or whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to give a shout out to Noof Nukem. I missed you today, bud. And I literally, I literally just received probably my last physical game I will ever own in the mail today from Noof. He got me Titanfall 2 in the mail today. Thank you for that. And I got to frame it or something, because when Noof makes it big, I could always say, Noof Nukem we used to be so tight. We used to podcast together, and you literally old school mailed me this physical, game that because he's so pro physical. But other than that, man, it was sick, man. Tonight was so sick. G-Man, Hyena, Nintendo, who I've missed in forever, FC Violent, Salty, and Dealer, man. What a sick night, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Literally, man.
You got to look into doing a song off of the Stones. Get off my cloud. Get on my cloud.
You told me you were creating some lyrics for a song. How did that go?
I'm working on something. I can't say anything yet, but I'm working on
at least you don't got Dealer on your back. Drop that track.
Yeah.
Let's bring the comment back to
awesome. Hyena Den, where can people find you, man?
Absolutely. It's just a really, really funny show. I thought it was going to be, just as much. It's really nice to have Violent as a permanent member on the TSGP. It's good stuff, dude. And also, it's really awesome to have a Nintendo bag as a guest and Dealer as a guest as well. A lot of really funny topics today. Everybody can find me on Twitter at HyenaDenXBL and on YouTube and Xbox Live at HyenaSpaceDen. I'm going to be doing a video about this recent news about the Sony and Microsoft Azure partnership. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about. I actually really like topics like this because I can really sink my teeth into research and try to answer some questions and then ask questions back to the community and get a long conversation going revolving around the video. So it's gonna be fun times.
And last but certainly not least, FC Violent, our new permanent panel member. You did a great job, dude. Where can people find you, man?
Yes, sir. Firstly, I want to say thank you to the panel, man. Nintendo and Dealer, bro. First time actually being on the same panel as you, and the chat, man. I appreciate you guys. You can find me on FC Space Violent on YouTube, and check out my last video, man. Yes. It's on Rare, man. The Rebirth of Rare, man. Just check it out. And that's pretty much it, man. I'll see you guys later, bro. And keep it gaming.
Yes. I guess it's time for my outro. Appreciate everybody in the chat. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks for all the people that hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell icon. We're thankful for all the super chats. Thank you so much for the Patreon supporters, the members of the channel. If we get one more member on the channel, we get a new emoji out there. I'm trying to get some new ones in there. Maybe it's just depending on what we like, what we don't like. Let me know what you thought of the new GIFs I had out there. I had a lot of new ones going on. Lots of work went into the show. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a great show, great hangout. It's just a bunch of gamers talking games and sourcing sources and all that good stuff. But anyway, we're going to get out of here, get to some games. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And as always, stay salty, my friends.